Hello and welcome back for another episode of Craven Some Raven. How y'all doing? Ravens Nation, Ravens Flock, all 5 of you that listen to this podcast. You feeling good after this win? I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, it wasn't the most dominating performance. It wasn't nearly as good as last week. But how could we expect that? I know I predicted it, but I was wrong about that. This week, not so great on predictions. Got quite a few predictions wrong, actually. But we won't get into that. We'll just get into the game. I mean, man, they came out with the W. The Ravens, once again, 2 games in a row, ended the game with the offense inside the 5-yard line. Now, I know it doesn't mean much, but what it means to me, and what it should mean to you, is that when we got to run the clock out, we can do that, because we've done it 2 times in a row. Now, against the Dolphins, they were kind of a beaten-down team, already calling their agents at the time, according to the media. But, against the Arizona Cardinals, they had a chance in that game. Like I said, the final score was 23-17, a 1-score game. Now, the Ravens, they just had to eat out the clock. And they had them, they had a 3rd and 11, and that last play, that last pass, to really not fully seal the game. They still had to get one more first down. But what really broke the Cardinals was that pass to Hollywood Brown, that 40-yard dime. Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown. Woo! That connection is looking good so far. But, 2 games in a row where the offense is able to just run out the clock and punish the opposing defense into the ground until it's win time, until the W's can go up, till 000s are on the clock. And I love it, man. And Lamar Jackson, my God. What a game. And I knew he was going to have a good game. Not from my predictions. I predicted that he was going to have a good game. But once I saw pregame, once I saw them wearing them purple pants, it was over. I knew Lamar Jackson was going to go off. He was going to do something crazy. Because anytime Lamar Jackson puts on them purple pants, he goes off. We haven't had many games like that. I think he's only been in 3 games with the purple pants. But 2 of his best games last year were in purple pants. When he played the Chiefs, that was a great game. He should have gotten the win. Should have gotten the win on that one. 4th and forever. Just toss it up to Tyreek Hill. So we'll get to that more maybe in the future, maybe next episode. But then also against the Browns, last game of the season, man, should have had, 4 rushing touchdowns? I think he only had 2, but he should have definitely had 3. There was a holding call that was some bullshit, and then there was, I think, another one. Not a touchdown, but, it was like some block in the back. It was like, he would have had it. He would have had it. Come on, bro. But yeah, man. No, I think he had 3. He had the one straight up the middle. Did he have one going to the left? I know he had the one going to the right where he kind of had a hop. Either way, Lamar goes off in purple pants. So I saw them grimace-looking pants, and I was like, yep, let's go, baby. Let's go, Lamar. It's about to go off. And, he did. He did something that no one else in the history of the NFL, so no matter what you want to say, it's against these people, it's against these guys, it doesn't matter. It's never been done before in the NFL. No quarterback has ever passed for 250 yards and rushed for 120 yards. No one's done that. I'm still waiting for him to get that 300 and 100. Now, I think that's coming soon. I think that could be this upcoming week. This could be what he does up against the Chiefs. But we'll see. I'll do a breakdown. But this is just a review of that game, I had a chance to rewatch it again, finally. It is another day, so my emotions aren't as in it. I don't know if you guys would rather hear me have the podcast right after a game. But, recently I've been getting in on the Ravens YouTubers. I know Coach Evans from Sip to Tally Films, he likes to do an episode right after the game. And then I get on there and I end up co-hosting. I call into a show and I end up kind of co-hosting. So, if you've heard me there, if that's why you're listening to me, because I definitely got some more subscribers after that. After the first time I did that, I try to have good takes. Usually, I try to be funny, but usually it's kind of ridiculous, especially since it is live. I mean, this is also live, but, if I end up going down a tangent that I don't want to end up putting out there, I could stop it or not put it out there. I haven't had to do that yet, but I mean, like I said, this is very informal. And so this is my honest reaction to the game. But like I was saying, not as raw, not as much emotion because, I let it marinate for the day. Let it marinate, get it nice and good, try to get my takes nice and juicy, nice and tender. But they're probably not. They're probably just garbage like anybody else's. They probably don't differ than anybody else. And I haven't listened to a lot of takes so far after this game, just because I want it to be just me, not being influenced by other people. Because it always does. Anytime someone says something, it always influences you. But either way, that's enough about whatever I'm talking about. Let's get back to the game. Because Lamar Jackson, I just hit his stat line, all right? 24 of 37 with a, 60-something%, like 64% passer rating. I don't know precisely, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember it saying. It doesn't say it exactly right here. But listen, not as efficient as last week. But man, 272 yards, that is not bad. 2 touchdowns, that is not bad. That Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews connection. Now I already mentioned the Hollywood Brown, but Mark Andrews, my guy. Holy hell. In 2 of my fantasy leagues, I got him. People were like, are you going to draft a tight end yet? And I'm like, nah, man, I'll wait another round. Mark Andrews is still there. People have been sleeping. I don't know, because now in the Ravens YouTubers league, he was long gone, and I auto-drafted. I had no control over that. I mean, listen, in the 2 other leagues that I drafted, I have the highest scoring team. I think through 2 weeks. I think one of them I might have just moved into second place. I think one of my buddies put up mad points this past week. So I might be number 2. But in the other league, in a 12-person league, I'm putting up mad points, bro. So listen, if you're in the Ravens YouTubers league, you're welcome that I didn't draft, or else that whole league would be going down. They'd be wiltering. Either way, you'd be on your knees begging for forgiveness because I'd be scoring so many goddamn points. But thank you, AutoDraft, for getting me a shit team. Try and hit the waiver wire, which, first of all, if you run a fantasy league, or if you're in a fantasy league, or you're a commissioner, most specifically, if you are a commissioner, get rid of the waiver wire. Waiver wire, not raver wire. Listen, I think, if you have enough knowledge, you should be able to pick up and drop players as instantly as you want to. That's what it's like in my buddies' league, and I love it instantly. If you're quick enough, and all of us, we're really into football, so once someone starts going off, and if your team isn't fully stacked, your bench is now filled up with great players. And I love it. You don't have to wait. There's no, you're really good, so you can't pick somebody before someone else. No, there's none of that. It's instantaneous. It's awesome. So listen, if you're in fantasy, just know, get rid of your waiver wire. It makes everything better. That waiting period is some bullshit. If you see somebody before someone else, so be it. I hate this. Oh, well, he gets to go first because, it's no bullshit awards. I don't know. It's like giving the last place kid a trophy. You don't deserve one, kid. No. Well, we gotta let everybody pick before you can go in for seconds. Fuck that. I'm hungry. Hungry for the W. Alright? I'll go back for seconds right goddamn now. You're starving kids in Africa. We can't leave this food here. Either way, that's a tangent. But, yeah, man. Not bad. Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's starting to... Excuse me. Sorry if I blew out your ears. He's starting to get recognition from everybody across the league. I think, there's the excuse of him, it's still being, hey, who did he play? But whatever. People are praising Mahomes, even though who did he play? Right? He played the Raiders, and what, the Jaguars, who, maybe they have a great defense, but they have proven time and time again that they love imploding. You get one play on them, and it's all over for them. And I'm not a huge fan of diminishing the competition. I mean, I am personally. But when it comes to my team and comparing, I mean, listen, I'm not a fan of diminishing Kyler Murray. I thought he played really well. I thought a lot of his throws, a lot of his long throws, they were just straight up desperation. Let's hope they come down with it kind of throws, and they did. But you got to credit him for at least throwing it. I wish our DBs were more competent in coming up with an interception, or at least were better at playing the ball than it seems that they were this past game. Because it seems like, they're not playing the ball all that well. Yeah, they're sticking coverage. Yeah, they're right there. Their hands are right there. But they're not playing the ball nearly as well as they should be. There should be more interceptions. After that game, there probably should have been 2-3 interceptions. And there was a couple times where it's like, yo, how was that guy so wide open? What's going on? There was some breakdowns in the secondary. Now, I know we got injuries with Tavon Young and with Jimmy Smith. But, I mean, a breakdown in coverage? Come on now. That's not the Ravens. That is not us. But listen, anytime you throw the ball 40 times, yeah, what did he throw? He threw it 40 times that game. Out of how many plays did they have? I don't even know. But they only had 11 rushes, 3 to Kyler Murray. And those are all just him scrambling out. So listen, all right, so they had, 48 total plays on offense, and 40 of them were passes. Eventually, at some point, as much as I love the Ravens defense and as dominant as I think they can be, or as really any defense, that does seem pretty dominant. I mean, the Patriots look pretty good right now. But if you throw the ball that many times a game, you eventually are going to have a breakdown in coverage. Something is going to happen. It's just a numbers game at that point. It's statistics. You will eventually have a breakdown. And sometimes, there's a breakdown and the quarterback doesn't see it, or luckily or unluckily this time he kind of did see it, or something. He just threw it up, man. He threw it up so many goddamn times. He's gonna get yards. And a lot of teams, defensively, they're susceptible to going 4 wide receivers on each play. And I think most defenses are, just because it tires you out and it spreads you out. It gets your defense spread across the entire field, where you know how defense works. I mean, you go back to any type of defense, not even football. You're talking like 300. Remember that? They just get real close, get the shields up and the spears out, and they're coming down a small corridor. So you only got to defend that small spot. But if you spread it out, and go to a whole field, 300 is done. The Spartans are done. So, Kyler Murray, they're going to spread people out all year, and I think it's going to put up a lot of points on a lot of people. And I think they got to get it going a little bit more. They got to get that defense going, which I don't think that's going to happen. But listen, man, a lot of teams, on offense, I mean, everyone knows this. Everyone knows you spread a team out, you're going to have success. But a lot of teams don't do it on offense, and it's like, why? I'm thinking to myself, why aren't teams just doing this? It's because a lot of the times you're not going to get passes, and it will lead to 3 and outs that take about 5 seconds off the clock. And people don't want that. People at least want some sort of time of possession. You saw at the end of this game. Let's see if I can find time of possession. Yeah, so 37 minutes to 22 minutes. See, this is what happens if you play an air raid type system. Yeah, they'll put up yards on you, but they will not hold the ball very often. And oh, bless you. And, oh, double burp? What's going on, man? I haven't eaten anything all day, and it's already like, holy shit, it's 5 o'clock and I haven't eaten. It's probably why I'm skinny. Forget to eat. I was hungry earlier, but then you know how it just goes away? And you're just like, wow, I'm just like not hungry anymore. I think it's some kind of like fasting thing, even though that I'm not doing it on purpose. I just, at the time, I was in the middle of something, so I couldn't go out and eat. And now I'm doing this, and I'll probably just eat after this. But who cares? But listen, if you are a spread offense, this is what's going to happen, and you're going to have trouble scoring from close to the goal line. It's just indicative of that type of offense. Because with a spread offense, you can probably score from 40 yards out, and that's going to be your bread and butter for scoring. But once you get inside the 5, and the reason why they're going to have trouble all year, and why the Ravens, they were able to hold them, because they do have a good defense, but also schematically, running a spread type system, the lanes get so much smaller. You got to get the ball out super quickly, and at that point, you can have a linebacker come across, and then you're looking at pick six city. Pick six city. Say that 10 times fast. Pick six city, pick six city, pick six city, pick six city. It's not that hard. But yeah, the windows just get really tight down towards the goal line there, and I think they're gonna have trouble all year doing that. I think more trouble than most. I think they're gonna be on goal line situations that they're going to be below average, below the mean across the league. But, they'll still have some success. I'm not saying they won't. It's just, that's what the run game is for, those spots. And they put up yards. They're going to, I'm just pre-predicting. I think they win next week. I don't even know who they're playing, but I just say they win next week. I don't care who they're playing. They're winning, all right? Yeah, but, they got 17 points. I wasn't too happy about that in general. Two touchdowns. Did they have? No, they only had one touchdown. It was the run to David Johnson. And that one, on that run, man, dude, Tim Williams had him. He had the guy in the backfield, David Johnson, that's his name. Tim Williams had David Johnson in the backfield, but instead, they're doing kind of like one of those RPO type things where he decided to go to Kyler Murray instead of crashing down and grabbing the running back. Which, in a perfect world, Tim Williams is supposed to go for the quarterback there, and then your linebackers could fill in and grab David Johnson. But they just weren't in position right there. They were on the 1-yard line. It was a bang-bang play. So, still not happy about seeing it. But, listen, man, our offense, they were moving the ball too. It's just they didn't finish drives as well as they were supposed to. You think, like, they could have had 27 instead of getting that 23, getting that field goal, getting right there. And there's that one, man. It was 3rd and 20, man, and Lamar Jackson ran it 19 yards. It was just supposed to be get a few more yards so we can kick the field goal, and we'll be good. But he ended up getting 19, and then they ended up trying to go for it. But then there was a delay of game penalty, or no, they called I think they called the timeout because the clock was going to wind down and they wouldn't have gotten a playoff and it would have been a wasted play. But oh well. So yeah, also Lamar Jackson, man, 120 rushing yards. I think that's the most in his career, averaging 7.5 a carry. It says he ran 16 times. I don't know if that includes kneel downs. But listen, a bunch of talk this preseason or before the season started, I should say, is how many times is Lamar going to run? I predicted he's going to rush a shitload. He's going to rush for 1,000 times. And you know what? He gets like 2 to 4 extra runs a game just on these kneel downs. How many is that total? Like, what's the math on that? Let's just say, all right, where's the calculator, bruh? I know there's a calculator on this goddamn iPad. Hold on. Let me just pause this right here. Alright, so apparently there's no... my iPad didn't come with a calculator, but, so 16 games, we'll just average it out. 3 kneel downs a game. That's 48 extra rushes. That ain't bad. But, is he going to rush 200 times? Is he going to rush 150 times? Is he going to rush even 100 times? And, half of 100, 50 rushes a game just on kneeling the down in victories, of course. That's huge, man. And I hope he gets it. I hope he gets an extra 50 this year just on kneel downs. That'd be awesome. That'd be impressive. That's probably would be a new NFL record, But yeah, man. Lamar Jackson, super, super impressive, and he's getting a lot of attention now. It's about goddamn time. And statistically, around the NFL, he's up there, man. He is like one of the top quarterbacks so far, stat-wise. I think he'll continue. I see no reason why he wouldn't. Like him and Patrick Mahomes, they're the new faces of this league, I think. I think people are starting to wake up, a lot of attention was given to Lamar Jackson about what he'll do this year. And now that he's had some success, he's going to get a lot of eyes. I think a lot of people want to watch the Ravens this year, especially this game upcoming. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game, Chiefs versus Ravens. And I think Lamar Jackson is definitely going to be in the discussion for MVP. I mean, I've already talked about it, but I think, especially after seeing how he's been playing, it was just a prediction before, but now he's proven me right. As narcissistic as that is, he's proven me right to the goods of the team. But after this game, when a bunch of people watch him, because at any time, people don't give him credit until they watch him. You can see it. Anybody who doesn't give him credit and says, oh, this, that, and oh, it's going to be this, blah, 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 they're not watching the game. A lot of these people, they're national football coverage kind of guys or women. They have to watch each and every game or not even watch. Just see the highlights. Just look at the scores. Just look at the box scores, the stats and everything. And they don't watch the game. And you can tell. And you can tell who watches the game. Because when someone watches a game that features Lamar Jackson, they come away saying, well, this kid, man, sky's the limit with this guy. And you can see it. You can see whoever is still skeptical and whoever still says, hey, but it's the Cardinals. They weren't watching the game. They were not. They saw some highlights. They say, oh, that was just the highlights of the game. He didn't do that every time. Listen, he got 120 rushing yards that game. And his longest rush was for 19 yards. So watching the game, you saw it like I did. He was just punching it down the field, giving it 15, 10, just getting the first down when he had to. He got a few sacks. I think there was like 2 or 3. It's just a breakdown in the line. There's nothing you can do about that, Lamar Jackson. He had guys all over him. He almost got out of him a couple times. I know y'all saw that ripped jersey. The man ripped his jersey, had such a grip on it, and he tried to tuck around the offensive lineman, and it just straight up ripped his jersey. I think they got him a new one because it wasn't ripped towards the end. It wasn't ripped the whole time. So they got him a new jersey. But man, that rushing ability. Y'all forgot. Y'all didn't forget. The people listening to this podcast, you guys didn't forget. But those guys, they forgot. Who is they? You know who they are. They tell them you can't do it. Or whatever DJ Khaled says. They say you can't. They say you can't run the ball, Lamar. Another one. They say you can't throw touchdowns, Lamar. Another one. They say you're too skinny. You're going to get injured. Another one. I don't know what the another one is, but DJ Khaled, he needs to make a video featuring Lamar. I genuinely think that Lamar, after everything I said this preseason, he is far and away outdid what I thought he would do. Now, I thought he's going to be an MVP this year. Or my original thought was he's going to be an MVP. Maybe not this year because I thought Patrick Mahomes might put up some crazy numbers. And then when I did my most recent Lamar Jackson will get the MVP podcast, it became during the podcast I kind of convinced myself it's got to be this year. Because this is when he can take the league by storm. There's no other year that he can take the league by storm. The MVP award is a breakout player award. Someone who is like, whoa, where did this guy come from? Look at how valuable this guy is. Would you say he's the most valuable? Well, I didn't see anybody else do what he did, Tom. Well, back to you. He's the MVP. This is the year where he can do this stuff and it actually surprise everybody. Everybody watching, it can surprise them. Because next year, when he starts doing this crazy shit, it's just going to be, another Lamar game. Because, listen, Patrick Mahomes won the MVP last year, and he's on pace to kill it this year, do even better than he did last year. But a lot of the talk's going towards Lamar because he's doing it in such a different way. He's throwing it up with excellent vision, touch timing, all those great quarterback words people like to use when in terms of passing. But with his legs, though, God damn, those are some highlights. Now, he put up some pretty man, he balls these first 2 games. But they are far and away overshadowed by just like a 10-yard run, just a 19-yard run that Lamar Jackson will just routinely throw up, just because he's so electrifying. And it's just a thing of beauty. And it's really tough to defend. You know, this game at the end there, man, it looked like a classic Ravens loss, like a classic thing, you know, oh, God damn it, we're letting them back in the game, you know, defense is going to have a lapse, the offense gets like 2 quick 3-and-outs, and then the opposing team is right back in the game, and then we're trailing, and we got to come back, and we end up not doing it. But this time, we got Lamar Jackson in the game, baby. Our defense, it might have let up a little bit too much. You know, our offense got a couple penalties, but you know what? We stuck to it, and it wasn't pretty, but we held them out. The defense held their own. The home stadium, man, that shit was loud as hell. I loved it. You know, causing Kyler Murray to not get his communications correct, you know, having issues talking to the offensive line and to his receivers when he wanted to audible. So shout out to M&T Bank Stadium, the Shield. So then the defense held up and give the ball back to Lamar. What does he do in a game-winning situation or a game, you got to salt the clock or whatever. What is it? Salting it? I don't know if it's sulking. It's not sad. Yeah, milking the clock. Yeah, you got to milk the clock. Lamar Jackson knows how to milk some clock, damn it. He is a clock milking machine. He's a damn farmer out there. Fresh squeezed? So delicious. What is that, 2%? Nah, man, that is 100% Lamar game. Whoa. Gross. 100%. Whole milk. Lamar just fucking stroking the teat. Milking that clock, baby. Either way, I'm going to stop with that analogy. It's getting a little gross, if you ask me. Yeah, man, he knows how to milk the clock. That run game, it gets opened up through Lamar Jackson because he can go outside, and then it allows the running backs to go up inside. Now, I was surprised. I didn't see much of Gus Edwards. I thought they would have played him a lot more. I think he complements Lamar very well. I think just his go-ahead, straightforward. I don't care if there's a hole to the right of me. I'm going straight. There's something beautiful about that. And something so pure, almost samurai-like in that running style. Like, I'm going north and south. Fuck off, everybody. Fuck you, defense. Fuck you, O-line. I'm going straight. There's something beautiful about that, because if there happens to be a hole, he's going 40 yards. I thought they would have used him a little bit more. They started using him at the end of the game, but I would like to see him used more early game. You know, the Ravens had still one of their biggest issues is third quarter. It's going against them this year and then all last year. I mean, for the past years, you know, third quarter has been a struggle for the Ravens. But you know what? They were able to come up with the win. And then who was I talking about? Gus Edwards, yeah. But I mean, Mark Ingram had some good runs. But I mean, the run game didn't show up as much as I would have liked it to. I mean, let's see. Yeah, only like 62 yards total besides Lamar. I mean, that's not good. That's not a way to get it going. You know, maybe Arizona had a good scheme. But I mean, our run game, it just didn't look as good as it did last year. I'm chalking it up to the Cardinals having a good scheme, but it could just be that, hey man, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. You know, with Terrell Suggs, you don't know. He probably told them some stuff like, hey, this is how they like to run, and this is why it's working. Because I don't think the Ravens' run game, I think it's scheme that's winning. And so if you got guys or a defense that can match that scheme, I don't think our O-line is blowing anybody up on an individual basis. Besides, I think Marshall Yanda and maybe Zeus in certain situations, and then Ronnie Stanley in the pass game. But when it comes to just running downhill, man on a man, you know, I think we're middle of the road, man. I think it's just our scheme is what gets that run game going. And so if you're able to match the scheme, which I'm thinking the Cardinals were able to do, that's why they didn't go off. You know, that's why they didn't go off. Yeah, man. So let's, you know, I love defense, but man, this Ravens offense is changing my tune. I love the defense wins championships. because it does. I love that motto. But man, this offense is really getting me hyped up. I've never been this excited or confident in what the offense can do. And like receiving wise, Mark Andrews, obviously the number one target for Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is most confident in Mark Andrews. He talked about after the game just playing street ball out there. And man, it's a thing of fucking beauty. 3rd and Andrews. Like, how many times in that game did we see that? Even the last game before that. So I think Andrews is just going to continue to go off each and every week. Fantasy-wise, he's the number one tight end. Before the season started, I was guessing, he's going to be one of the top tight ends in this league. But after 2 weeks, he is the top tight end in the league. Looking at fantasy-wise, that's pretty accurate when it comes to top producers, touchdowns, yards, and all that. It's Mark Andrews, man. And then Marquise Hollywood Brown, the 2 guys that get 8 targets. Obviously, his 2 favorite targets. Marquise Brown, though, the Broward County kid. It's a Broward County thing. That's what Lamar said after last game. And man, thing of fucking beauty. Just tossing it up to him. There were a few misses. Obviously, Lamar wasn't as accurate as he was versus the Dolphins. He threw it more, but he was not as on point. There were definitely a few passes that got away from him. I'd say like 5 or 6 of them, though. That's about it. There's a couple throwaways. There's a couple drops. But other than that, man, there's like a tip ball. But other than that, it was very good throwing by Lamar. Like I said, just a few of them that didn't quite get on the mark. And I forgot where I was going with this. But yeah, Hollywood Brown killing it. And it's about goddamn time that the Ravens draft a receiver early in the draft, and he ends up killing it. Like, are you kidding me? This makes me so happy. It should make you happy. I'm ecstatic. Like, this guy, Marquise Brown, another first-round wide receiver draft pick or early draft wide receiver pick. And as a Ravens fan, it's like, oh, here we go. You got the smallest guy. He's currently injured. What the fuck were you guys thinking? But what did he do? He's going out and proven that Hollywood name. He has earned it. I remember earlier in the season, the joke was that Peanut wasn't calling him Hollywood. He was just calling him Wood or whatever. And, he earned that name. He has earned Hollywood. Another individual performance on the offense, really. Miles Boykin, he got in the game, but it's just there was like a series there where it was ugly, man. It just penalty after penalty. As a whole, really, there's like offensive holding. There's 12 men on the field. That third quarter was just garbage, and it's consistently been the quarter where the Ravens just don't have much success. Their production out of the half just seems to dip a little bit, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Usually defense steps up in that quarter. But yeah, man, a lot of penalties, and Miles Boykin, he got one pass, but there's just miscommunications by him. There's like 2 or 3 plays in a row where he lined up on the wrong side of the field, and you could tell because like Lamar's like, get over there, man. You're in the wrong spot, bro. And there's a miscommunication with one of the passes that went towards him. Yeah, he was supposed to keep running, but he thought he was supposed to sit down in the zone a little bit. Just some miscommunication. He definitely looks more like a rookie than Marquise Brown does. Marquise Brown seems to be like a pro, like the man's man. And just more on offense, man. I love the way we're spreading the ball around now. Willie Snead didn't get it. A lot of the wide receivers didn't really get much, which kind of sucks. But I saw Mark Ingram caught that ball, not even out of the backfield. He was lined up outside, as a receiver. And Mark Ingram, he doesn't do that. That's not something he did in New Orleans a lot. Maybe he did, and I'm just not aware of it. But he's lined up as a wide receiver and going out and getting that ball, man. That's the thing of beauty. Spread that ball around. I love that, man. There's some. On offense, there's a few calls that I didn't like. There was that Marquise Brown. He got nailed that was definitely pass interference, and they went and challenged it, and they still didn't turn it over, even though the defender definitely got there early. But I guess they didn't think it was enough, whatever. Who else? There was definitely some more that I didn't agree with, but I can't think of right now. Let's see. There was that one ball that was hiked straight into Mark Andrews' legs. So I don't like seeing that, getting off the not on the right page, or timing of the snap. He snapped it right into the motion, man. That's never good. That's something you'd hope that they can figure out pre start of the season, But that was a one-time thing. I didn't see it much. I was seeing, moving towards the defense a little bit, because I think that might be pretty much everybody on offense. The defense, they let up 17 points, which really isn't a lot, but I mean, being a defensive-minded team, that's way too much, man. Now, granted, I think the Cardinals are just going to put up a lot of points this year. I think they're just starting off slow. I think, they have to build up chemistry. They have to get a little bit better. They got to build towards, greatness first. But I mean, I think they're going to get it going. A lot of people, and including myself, I thought they were going to start off hot, and then they were going to kind of trail off. Everyone's going to kind of figure out what they're doing. But it seems to me that the opposite is the case. But we let up a lot of points, too many points for my liking, too many yards for my liking. But man, Marlon Humphrey, my guy, dude was killing it out there. The balls that I saw completed over him, that wasn't his guy. He had the speed and the awareness to actually get off of his man and then go and try to help knock the ball out. There was one pass to like a tight end that I saw. He knocked the ball straight out right in the flats there. Thing of beauty. He didn't get an interception, but a quiet game. No one was catching over him. At least not his guy. Yeah, I mean, just in general, the flats on the field, getting the screens out, that ain't working on this team. This is, second year in a row, man. This defense is fast, and they are swarming. Anytime you pass it behind the line of scrimmage, or if you want to pass it, really short, but it ain't getting past anybody, right? And so many years, like, teams past, like the Patriots and the Bengals, they would always do that to us. These short screens, and we'd end up getting like 20-yard bombs on us. Not bombs, but I mean like 20-yard plays, 30-yard plays just from these stupid screens, and they would do it all game, and it would kill us. It would kill our defense. So I'm really happy that we're not allowing that anymore. Not anymore. Someone else on defense I want to talk about, because I heard a lot of people hating on Anthony Averett. I don't know why. I was watching the same game you guys were. There were some balls that were caught on him, but they were like, you couldn't ask for better coverage. Maybe if he somehow turned around, but at that point he wouldn't be in the right position if he turned around. He was in tight coverage most of the game. If not every single time that a ball was caught on him, he was in tight coverage, and there's not much more that I think we could conceivably ask of him. It's just lucky placement, man. Because Kyler Murray was just throwing it up, and it was just lucky placement. Good job by the receivers, I guess. But I thought Anthony Averett, man, I thought he played well. I thought he was in good position. If you're going to blame anybody, Brandon Carr got a lot of balls caught on him, where it seemed like, that was your guy, I think, who ended up getting wide open. Maybe. Or maybe it was Cyrus Jones. I don't know. But most impressed, definitely, with Marlon Humphrey. Matthew Judon came up. He had a couple sacks. He was killing it. Let me see if I can see how many sacks he had. It says he's only got one, but he was definitely in on more than that. The team is a total. See what it says here. It's not saying it. either way, I mean, I think we had 3, very similar to what we had last week. And I said going forward, it was going to be a lot like that. We're not going to just blow out certain games. It's going to be a consistent, schemed up pass rush that we'll get like 3 a game. That's all you can really ask for. That's what's up, bruh. So I don't know if there's anything else. I guess getting off the Ravens and onto the Cardinals a little bit more, I feel bad for Kyler Murray because of the way the Cardinals decided to build this team. They went and decided to go quarterback first. That's great. Quarterback can turn around your franchise, and it's all well and good. But you gotta get a defense first, man. Me personally, I think you got to build your defense up first, then go ahead and grab your quarterback and then build the offense around him. Kind of like what the Ravens have done. But here's why, man, because now they're stuck in this situation, a rock and a hard place, right? Stuck between 2 bad situations for the team. They can try to get the defense, help out Kyler Murray, build the defense now, but then it's going to have nothing but complaints about you're not putting weapons, you're not building this team around your fresh new quarterback, and you're wasting his good years, right? That's going to be the narrative. Or let's say you go ahead and get all the weapons in the world, all the offensive line, and really surround Kyler Murray with a bunch of stuff. But then your defense is just going to suffer. I mean, you're going to be in a lot of shootouts. I think it won't get as much attention as hey, you're not putting the right stuff around him kind of talks. You won't get, wow, you guys need a better defense. It's not going to be as intense as a hey, you got to put weapons around him. I mean, because the defense is going to help the team win games, right? A good defense will help any team stay in games. But if they decide to try and build the defense, then you're not building this team around your shiny new toy. That's why I think it's important. You got to, as much as it sucks, if you're a franchise, down on their luck, not getting a lot of success, not getting a lot of wins, and then you go out there, with your high draft picks, you get nothing but defensive players, your team's going to be pissed, or your fan base is going to be pissed. But you know what? As a GM, you just got to say, hey, shut the fuck up. You guys don't know. I'm going to make this team better by building an elite defense that'll keep you in this game no matter what. Ravens have done that for how many years now? Since basically 2000. That's why we're, in general, have been a good franchise, a winning franchise. Win total wise, yes. Have we had down years? Yes, of course. It's just what happens. That's the cycle of the NFL. But we've always been in like almost every single game. I haven't been blown out many times because it's that defense. The defense is what keeps you in games. So you get the defense going, you get the defense rolling, you get it to a point where it can keep you within 10 points no matter what. Then that's when you get your quarterback, right? That's when you get your leader, and then you build around him. Then you build the offense around him, right? So that's just my theory. And I think the Cardinals, they're going to have that issue, man, going forward, building around Kyler. And I think Kyler is going to be a good quarterback. He's going to put up a lot of points. He's going to have success in Arizona. But, like, as a team, I don't know how much success they're going to have, because I think they're going to run into this problem and kind of do what the fan base wants, which is put weapons, put an offense around Kyler Murray. Now, that can help you. But if without a defense, without building up the defense, you're really causing an issue, right? They're going to neglect the defense. But, that's neither here nor there. This is a Craving Some Raven podcast. So I'm craving some Raven. Ain't Cardinals. Battle of the Birds, and we came out on top. Are we the best bird team? I think we are. After seeing them Eagles? Yeah. Yeah, we're the best bird team for sure. Seahawks, I mean, it was against the Steelers. The Steelers seem like they're playing like ass this year. Seems like they're out of it now. With Big Ben gone? Oh, hell yeah. The North, it's only week 2, but it's looking good for us. Now, the Browns are playing tonight. That game comes on in, I think, like an hour or so. The game comes on in an hour. So, I'll watch that game. I hope the Browns lose, but I also picked them to win and put money on them winning. So, I will not be mad if they win, just because I'll have bragging rights when it comes to my picks. And if the Browns win, this week, a little preview for my Dick Picks episode. I will be 11-5 this week. Not too shabby. That is a playoff team. So, with that being said, man, I think that's going to do it for this episode. That was a good preview. I'm sure there was some stuff that I want to talk about in this game that I did not get to. Hopefully I'll get to it in another episode if I think of it at the time. But please, if you could, like this episode on YouTube, comment on it on YouTube. If you're listening on one of the many podcasting apps that I'm on, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, please give me a 5-star rating. That kind of boosts me up in the standings of Ravens podcasts. Now, I think quality-wise, knowledge of Ravens-wise, I'm top 5. But, when it comes to numbers and people watching me, and you just got to get it out there, I'm definitely lower. Production value, yeah, we're definitely ain't top 5. But come on, man, I know my stuff. Predictions-wise, I've been pretty spot on. When it comes to good stuff for the team, I don't know. This past week, individual game-wise, not as much, But I'm feeling this team, man. Part of the reasons why I got this podcast now. I'm feeling this team. I think it's destined for greatness. This upcoming game, man, this is going to be the toughest game until I think the Patriots. I think this is the matchup. I wish they could flex these games, but you know what? We'll break it down in another episode. So thank you for listening. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, give it a rating. And with that being said, thank you for listening. I love you all, and go Ravens! That could have gone longer, but whatever.